Ladies and gentlemen, and all other genders out there, the TPS Reports is back. The Pool Series podcast. I'm Justin Clark. That's Brandon Mullis. That's Patrick Dixon. What's up, guys?
What's going on, gentlemen?
What's up, baby? How y'all living, man?
Dude, I'm excited for this podcast.
Cannot
Fire
wait.
up.
Sadly, we are a little behind. It's been a couple of weeks. It's the holidays. We all have stuff going on. Pat's got his bundle of kids, and Brandon's got his wife and family. And well, I'm just a single guy that's been waiting around for you guys.
I'm sick of
Made
hearing
it
about
happen.
it too.
We're here. Let's ride, baby.
So we got we did an 8-ball tournament over at Blue Rock, Pat's home pool hall. Now that's what I'm calling it, Pat.
You should call it that. That is my home pool hall.
Yes.
That's
I
a
love
nice
Blue Rocks.
pool hall.
Yeah.
For sure. It's definitely a super nice pool right now. The tables are playing fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The setup is awesome. The Predator lights are amazing. Love it. So we did, it was November 25th was the date of the tournament. So 2 days after Thanksgiving. We only ended up with 28 players, tried to get 32. So I think we're okay with 28, correct?
For a Thanksgiving holiday to still pull 28 quality players to come play a tourney, I think that's pretty strong, actually.
Agreed.
Absolutely. Pat, how hard was it for you to convince the wife to let you play?
You know, every month it gets a little bit harder each time. So this was pretty hard. And then the one coming up on the 30th, plug, will be even harder, but I can't wait. She's, again, as long as I put it on the calendar, we're good to go.
Nice. Brandon, what you did not play in this one. Me and Pat actually both played, which we'll get to later. So, Brandon, what did you do instead of coming to play?
I went to my job and just sat there and watched y'all play pool. At least I got to watch y'all play pool online. I got to see some great commentary, both you guys, even doing it by yourselves in numerous matches, which was great. Got to see some awesome pool.
Absolutely.
Really did. Actually, I'm sorry. I got to see some awesome pool and then some not so awesome pool. But overall, loved every minute.
And as you said, you can watch the matches. You can watch the live stream or past matches on our Facebook page of the Pool Series, or you can go to our YouTube page, the Pool Series, and see past matches from earlier this year. We're slowly getting all of them up on there. You can also check out this podcast on the YouTube page or on Spotify under the TPS Reports. There's my plugs. I'm doing a pretty good job. Now let's get into more plugging and mention our sponsors for this tournament. How about that, huh? We had very awesome sponsors, and we're going to start off with a new sponsor that we had, John Patera at Remax Metro Realty. He actually played in the tournament. No, he did not play in this one. I'm sorry. He has played in one of our past ones, though. So thank you, John. We had Bowie's Plumbing, Jeff Bowie. We all appreciate him. Smitty's Garage Services. Tim's Q's this time sponsored. He also came and hung out for a little bit. We had Pool Doctors, once again, sponsor our event. Portico Licensed General Contractors. Corey, we appreciate you again, buddy. Red's Debris Removal and Hauling. Red's always a super nice guy. We appreciate Red. And Inkwell Design. That's JC, who makes our awesome trophy, who somebody got to walk away with, which we will talk about here shortly. Now, after that, I'm going to take a breath and say, Pat, coming into this tournament, man, you were there all day. As you saw the players walking in, what was your thought process? What were you thinking as you saw some of these guys walking in, or ladies actually this time?
First thing I was thinking was, are they actually going to show up?
It
took a minute for the folks to kind of get in there. We started how late was it? About a little.
Oh, we started the calculator at about 12:20. We were not that late at all.
Wasn't that bad? Okay. Well, when you're trying to do a lot of stuff, it always seems later than it is, I guess.
It seems late because me and you, that was like the earliest I think we have showed up.
That's probably what it is. Yeah, good call. But no, the players walking in, I like seeing some of the repeat newcomers come back. Craig Tittelbaum, Ralph Wallace came back as well. I thought Tittelbaum. Craig, I'm sorry. Teach me how to say your name.
Yeah, I was going to ask you to pronounce it.
I think it's Craig Tittelbaum, but no, seeing them come back, and then of course seeing some of the more seasoned veteran pool series players that we've been accustomed to. I was really excited to see Al Manuel as well.
Yes.
I usually only see him for the one pocket tournaments and things like that, but it was so cool to see him come in and play down there at Blue Rocks for the 9-ball. So a lot of familiar faces. It was always, like always, really good vibes. It was fun. So I was looking around and I thought I was going to have a much better chance than what and how it turned out, looking around. But
But we will, yeah,
it is what it is.
we'll get to your performance here in a little bit, and kind of talk about that. But so this was an 8 ball tournament, race to 3. So short races. I guess Brandon, what do you think about that race to 3 8 ball? That was kind of new for us.
I think that's the magic number.
Yeah,
I love the 9 ball being the best 2 out of 3 sets.
yeah,
But I love the 8 ball since since it's technically a longer game for the
Mhm.
most part, making it only a race to 3, adding more pressure to the players.
absolutely.
You don't have an extra set to recover. You got to
Mm.
win.
Yeah.
For some players, makes it a lot harder. So loved every bit of that. Matches, with exception of a handful, went a lot quicker.
Yeah.
And just love the format for sure.
Good, good. I'm glad you like the format. Pat, you played. So what did you think of the race to 3? Did you like it?
I did not.
You didn't?
I did not. I would have preferred a race to 5, but for obvious reasons, right? Like I was the guy who probably needed an extra rack or two to try to get back in the groove or have a chance to come back and win. But it makes sense, I didn't like it, but it makes sense as to why we did it. 8 balls, like you said, Brandon, a longer race. Do a longer matches. Just do a race of 3. Let's get in and get out. But time wise, we make great time because of that.
Yes, we were done by 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, that was great.
So I mean, 28 players, 6 tables. I think that worked out perfect. I love getting done at a reasonable hour. Everybody can get home safe and not be super tired. Be able to get some rest for Sunday and go to church or watch some football.
Meanwhile, we all just kind of went to Rackham anyway.
Yeah, I think we all went to Rackham after this tournament, anyways. So let's go ahead and get into our top finishers. Let's go ahead and get into the money players here. So we didn't have a full field. We only had 28. So we elected to only pick out the top 6 as opposed to the top 8 like we normally do. What were y'all thoughts on that? Were y'all okay with only the top 6 being paid, Brandon?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, if you want to win the money, first off, you can win more money, obviously.
Yeah.
Just being set alone, but it just puts so much more pressure and more emphasis on the play.
For sure. And speaking of money, we did pay out a total between tournament and auction. We paid out a total of $2,780. Pat, what do you think, man? Pretty good for a 28-player tournament?
I think that's great. And I think I agree with Brandon as well. The top 6 was definitely the way to go with this, with it being a shorter field, and putting more pressure to get in there, to get into the money. I think that was a perfect call.
Good, absolutely. I totally agree as well. And that's that's mostly why we did it, because I thought it was a great idea. Although we did ask Pat for his opinion though before. Me and Clay did ask Pat what he thought. So it was kind of a 3-headed decision there. So let's go ahead and get into these finishers here. And we're going to start off with 5th and 6th. 5th, 6th place, we had Marcus Moore, who's been around Charlotte forever and ever. He's one of the first people I ever met when I started playing. And then we had Randy Baker. And all I wrote for is that who? I had no idea who he was. Never heard of him. Comes in, finishes 5th, 6th, went through the winner side, lost in the final 4. So that was our 5th and 6th place finishers. Pat was there, so let's get his thoughts on those 2 players first and foremost. Pat, what'd you think about Marcus and Randy and how they did in this tournament?
I think Marcus getting into the money is what was supposed to happen for sure, especially with the shorter field and his experience. With Randy, I've seen him play a lot because he plays out of Blue Rocks. Usually when I'm able to go in and practice during the week, he's there early afternoon, something like that. I never got a chance to play against him until the tournament that evening. And I didn't realize he was as good as he was, to be quite honest. So it was really nice to see yet another new player to our tournaments coming in and jumping into the money. So it was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, Randy definitely surprised me with how well he played. I wasn't sure. I never know what to expect with people I never heard of or seen before. And he definitely surprised me a lot. Definitely went under the radar in the Calcutta, got himself for $20. Brandon, what did you think, man? We saw both these guys on the stream. Obviously, you know Marcus for years and years. Y'all probably go back to the 90s, actually. So
Sparred with him probably at least 1,000 hours. That's
Yeah.
not an exaggeration. Not anytime you see a short race and his name on the board, I actually expect the money. So him getting top 6, no shocker there. I don't really know Randy, but after watching a few of his matches, definitely one of my moments of the day. He's a good player.
Yeah.
Good player. He's
Super
a
nice
smart
guy.
player. Absolutely doesn't try to do too much. And I was happy to see that he made as far as he did.
Yeah, Randy was a super nice guy, and I was happy to see him cash. I like the newbies coming in and making the money. Marcus, first time playing in one of our tournaments. I guess it was good to see him cash. He's a solid 8-ball player, great one pocket player.
Oh yeah.
So I really wasn't too surprised that he cashed. I'm not with you guys in thinking he was supposed to, but I think it's he's right around that borderline. He could not. If he gets a good draw, definitely. And but yeah, not really a surprise, I would say. But I don't think it was a lock to be in the top 6 either. Let's move on to the 4th place finisher. Well, 4th place was Justin Clark.
Him?
Yeah, I
Oh
guess.
God, let's move on.
Yeah.
I don't have any notes. I didn't watch anything he did the whole day.
Yeah, he very lucky draw for sure. Brandon,
shoot.
thank you.
Good shoot. I mean, listen, draw or not, yeah. Sometimes brackets are more favorable than others. Especially if you're North Carolina and you always get a good bracket.
Yeah.
Totally understand that. Either way, 4th place, great job.
Thank
you. Your losses were quality.
I lost to the same guy twice.
Yes, I mean, you for sure. In my opinion, and we'll get to that at the end of the show.
Yeah.
But no, well, good shooting. I watched your match with Randy, and
Thank you.
well played.
Thank you. So
Absolutely.
I'm just gonna go ahead and ask you the question about the 4th place finisher, which again was me. Tournament director getting 4th place, fair, unfair?
Everything's
I'll
rigged.
ask you the important question there.
Everything's rigged. Everything's rigged. It's the NFL.
Okay,
No.
there we go. That's the answer I was looking for. Thank you, and we're done. See y'all later.
Have a good night, everybody.
No, like for real, congratulations to you, man. It's a very tough thing, not only to come in and just play your best without having to run a full blown tournament, but you did that while also running a full blown tournament. So, and then I don't know that you played in a pool series event all year except for a couple of one pocket tournaments.
Yeah, that
at
was
that.
it, yeah.
So you're kind of just coming in and playing and filling in a spot. I think you even said before that if the field had filled up and there was like an extra player that wanted to play, you would have pulled out, no questions asked.
Absolutely, yes.
Right. So having all those things on your mind, you're coming in, you get 4th place, and like you said, quality wins, in there and losing to the 2nd place finisher twice.
Yeah.
I mean, you had a great night, man.
Thank you. It was definitely fun for sure. We'll get into me a little bit later here. 3rd place.
Awesome.
Move on to 3rd place, who was also the top lady. She's a Virginia State champion, Miss Liz Taylor. I know neither one of y'all really knew her. I've known her. I've met her. I've seen her play firsthand. I told Pat to buy her in the Calcutta before the tournament started. I knew how good she was. This was not a shocker to me at all. I feel like Liz would be the best player in the Charlotte area if she lived here. I was super excited when she messaged me. I think she might have messaged me on Thanksgiving night asking me if there was still a spot left. So glad that she came and played. She really enjoyed herself. She thought it was a great tournament. We loved having her. Liz Taylor with a 3rd place finish. Brandon.
I'm a fan. I had heard of this woman named Liz Taylor from a few other people we know, but I had never actually watched her play, and I'm glad she did. In my notes that I have here, so eloquently placed, I might say, it says something very simply. Liz Taylor can really play.
Yeah.
This woman is good. No shock after watching her that she finished 3rd. She had a couple opportunities to finish higher.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes with the unlucky rolls and pull, that's how it goes. But all hats off and all credit to her. She played great. I'm a fan for sure. I hope she comes to a lot more events.
Absolutely, for sure. Pat, what did you think, man? I kind of tried to talk her up to you before the tournament started. So,
Liz.
Yeah.
Liz the Diamond Taylor. Please.
I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope with all of my hope that it sticks. Please come back. Please come back and play more. She is easily one of my favorite players after this tournament right here. And we had a nice interview after her match as well. I think, who did she beat? I can't remember who it was that she beat.
It was when she beat Randy, I think, to get to the hot seat match.
It was when she beat Randy Baker. That's right. But she had some super quality wins. And for me, I didn't know anything about Liz Taylor at all, except for when you told me, like, hey, man, you might want to watch out. Buy her in the Calcutta. She's legit. And that kind of piqued my interest. So being able to watch and also commentate her matches was a privilege. Please come back, Liz. Please.
Looking at this list, I also see that in the first round, she put the 3rd most expensive Calcutta guy right in the loser's bracket.
She came out firing and beat Joey Fox, bro.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great
What?
match.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that match here in a little bit, but that was definitely a great way to start the tournament and a great way for her to go ahead and show the Charlotte people what she had, that she's no pushover. But also winning top lady meant that we had 3 ladies in the tournament finally to pay out top ladies. So I was super excited about that. Hope that continues. I like to see the ladies come and play. Huge fan. I love paying out top lady. That was probably, honestly, that was probably my favorite person to pay was when I got to pay her at the end. I was like, this is awesome. Like I finally have an envelope here that says top lady. So that let's hope the ladies continue to play. The other 2 ladies were
Shay.
Christy Steele and Shamara Goodson. Yeah, those were the 3 ladies. So hopefully they continue to play in our tournaments. The second place finisher, second place for the second time in a row. The tournament previous, he lost in the finals at Rackham to Mike Davis. This time he gets second place again. The other tournament director, Clayton Davis, who played pretty good the whole tournament. I feel like I don't think he played as good as he did at Rackham, but he definitely still played good in this event. Pat, let's ask you the important question again. Tournament director getting second place twice in a row. Are we
It's the
still
NBA.
Are we still rigging it? Is that what's going on?
Absolutely. You're the NFL. He's the NBA. It's all rigged. Okay. Everything
You are
is.
the
No.
playoff committee, and this tournament is Florida State. No, of course not. And if anybody actually thinks that, they can come have a conversation with me directly because
Absolutely.
Tommy Kennedy ran his own tournament for years and years and years until he had health issues. Okay. And he said he thinks he's either won or cashed 20% of the time. And this is a 740 former U.S. Open champion Fargo pro. He is serious. And
So he's a little better than me and Clay.
no, definitely not. But point being, tournament director or not, this is a tough field. And I think I would applaud you more for winning. So
Absolutely.
Thank you.
either way, that's my thoughts. And then
Well, give me your thoughts just on Clay Davis and his tournament.
this comes right to another keynote that I
Yeah.
wrote right before this started. More of a question. Is Clay Davis the most consistent tournament player in Charlotte lately?
No.
Damn.
No? Okay.
If it's ooh, that's tough. That's tough.
It's got to be I mean, I know the
winner?
answer. I know the answer. No, I
Most
don't think it's the
consistent?
winner.
Okay.
If he's not, he's like 1A, 1B maybe.
Yeah.
He might be top 3 in most consistent tournament players, in my opinion.
I mean, I think
Guess your answer.
yeah.
Fox?
Yeah, Joey Fox.
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely one.
One.
This was we'll talk about him a little bit here in a second, but this was the first tournament in a while. I have not seen him in the money or near the top, but he did that night go to Rackham and win the Rackham event. So he still had a good day.
What happens when you're a legend? Just
Yeah.
But did he 2-1 out or did he win one?
That I do not know. I think he went 2-0.
He
And
won.
then goes and snaps off Rackham. It's impressive.
Well, he
No.
wanted to get there in time. But yeah, I mean, Pat, what do you think about Clay? You saw him play all day. He played good. You think he played as good as he did at Rackham? Because I felt like he played great at Rackham.
I felt like he played almost like it's like at Rackham he was at like 98%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that extra, he needed that extra 2%, and then for Mike Davis to have a bad day, which Mike Davis ain't gonna do.
No.
But I feel like right now Eddie Little and Clay Davis have switched spots. We've been waiting on Eddie Little. I know we're going to get into this later, but we've been waiting on Eddie Little to finally be able to get over that hump and get that trophy from the pool series, and he finally did in this tournament. And I feel like Clay is now in that seat. I feel like it's just a matter of time for him to get over that hump, and then we're going to be taking a picture of him in first place.
sure.
So Brandon's point makes perfect sense. You could definitely make an argument that Clay is one of the most, if not the most consistent tournament player. He's always in the money. He's always up there at the top, plays exceptionally well, especially in the tougher matches against tougher opponents.
Yeah.
We talked about it in past tournaments. The better players, their game builds as the tournament goes on. He comes in with a very solid base game early on, and he just builds into that greatness later on in the evening. It's just a lot of the times bad rolls here or there, and then the player on the other side just digs a little bit deeper, gets a better roll. Something happens where they just come out on top.
Absolutely. And before this tournament, there was probably 2 people we were waiting on to win a trophy. That was Ronald Bott, who did not show up. He was out of town for Thanksgiving. And the guy that won, the guy that got first place, finally, the legend, Eddie Little.
I
Brandon.
do remember on the last podcast when we were talking about Eddie saying that I said it very clearly and emphatically. This guy is going to break through.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't realize it'd be the very next tournament. However, I couldn't be happier for the guy. And I've got a ton of notes on him, which is usually how it works when the guy's the winner.
Well, let me go ahead and say right now, he has confirmed that he is playing our next event
Good.
and going to try to defend his crown. So and go back
Let's
to
go,
back.
baby.
So he's going to try to be the first back-to-back winner.
Let's
So
go.
go ahead with your notes on Eddie Little, the first place winner.
Little. Okay, so when he was playing Clay, well, I know we're going to get more into this match. I saw him miss a 6-ball that pretty much gave Clay a duck 8-ball to win the game. After that, tournament was over. And he just torched through the whole way.
Oh, in the finals.
In the hot seed match, in the finals, because he played Clay twice.
Yeah. So he missed that ball in their first match.
In the first match, yes. No, in the finals, I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was close. It was good enough to get the job done.
Yeah.
So, no, I couldn't be more thrilled for the guy. He really, because it's funny, in his early matches, they were average.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, especially against against Youngin. I saw.
Young, oh, it was very average. And then throughout the rest of the day, exactly to the points you just made, Pat, that the good players, they'll have that baseline, then they'll just build, and when the moment gets bigger, so does their game. And that's what happened.
Absolutely.
I'm so thrilled that Eddie Little went in and got the money this time.
Yeah,
and the trophy, more importantly.
Yeah, he looked excited for the trophy too.
Good.
Yes. Pat, what did you think about Eddie Little's tournament? You even did a little interview with Eddie after he won.
I did a little interview with the legend, man. That was a great little talk that we had. Go check that out on our Facebook page and YouTube channel once it eventually gets uploaded. But no, I think Brandon said it best. I don't have too much more to add other than Eddie Little. If you have the opportunity to watch him play in these tournaments, it comes to a point midway through where he gets a look in his eye. And you always hear other announcers and commentators and other people talking about when other players, oh, he's got that look. Eddie has a very specific look when you know he's not about to miss anything. He's about to play some great defense, and his experience is really about to come through. And right after that Youngin match, like Brandon said, when he started to find that groove, he had that look. And when he had that look, I said, it's going to be trouble for wherever I have to play against that guy now. But I'm just as happy for the guy to be able to finally take home that trophy, get that first place, and kind of get that monkey off of his back. And I'm excited to see what he does come December 30th.
Absolutely. I was very happy for Eddie. I was happy for everybody that cashed. Let's kind of jump into a couple of people that maybe surprised us that didn't cash. I got 3 names off the top right here of 3 people that did not cash. I'm going to read them off and see what y'all think, if y'all agree or if I left somebody out, which I could have. But this is just 3 that come to my mind. First off, Jeff Pate, because, well, we always expect him to be in the money. Actually, I think he only won 1 match this time. So the other person who we already mentioned, Joey Fox, just because he's had a couple of very high finishes here lately. And I said that he might be the most consistent tournament player when you asked that question. And the third person, Monic Surrey, who I think is just always close to cashing or in the cash, very solid player. Those are 3 guys I think you could have put in the money. I don't know which 3 you would have took out, but if they would have been up there, I would not have been surprised at all. Am I forgetting anybody? Let's start with Pat. Pat, am I forgetting anybody? Do you agree that you kind of expected those 3 to be up there?
I definitely agree. I mean, Monic, maybe not so much. I would probably say more to the other 2 guys, Joey Fox and Jeff Pate for sure over Monic. Because, I mean, to be fair, if we would have kept it, the top 8, Monic's there. He got 7th, 8th place. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, he's right there. But no. Joey Fox, Jeff Pate, for sure. Outside of that, I don't see any surprises.
Okay. Brandon, what do you think, man? Did you see anybody else that was at this tournament that you kind of was like, that guy should cash?
Absolutely.
Okay. Youngin?
Mm-hmm.
We have been mentioning him a lot.
I mean, he just like any player can have, moments where you have a lapse of focus. Because you're not focused, you're playing English on a ball you shouldn't, and that's what happened because he definitely had some opportunities. He played his first 2 matches. I actually thought he played really well, which he did beat Monic in his first match, so that's a great win.
Yeah.
And Young is just a really good 8-ball player. It's one of his favorite games to play, and Yeah, I'm definitely a little surprised he didn't cash, but I'm kind of 50-50 on that because I love the top 6 on the board. I think they're all strong players and
Absolutely.
deserve where they were.
Pat, I mentioned before the tournament some people that you should have bought in the Calcutta. Do you remember who all those people were? I'm going to throw out 3 names. I think I also told you that did not make the money that I told you maybe should try to buy.
I don't remember nothing.
One was Al Manuel. I think
Okay.
that's Al Manuel. So maybe he could have been a possibility. Todd Milam, who you actually did end up buying.
Mhm.
I told you him, and then John Simpson, who went for $120, one of the highest players in the Calcutta. I told you to keep an eye on him as well. So those
Yeah.
are maybe 3 other names that maybe could have sneaked in there. Maybe I thought under the radar guys that I feel like people should keep an eye on because I think all 3 of them are playing in our next event also, and I think they're all 3 starting to get out more and play more and get their name out there. So let's keep a track on those 3 guys
Okay.
coming up in the next few months or the next year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely Al Manuel. I mean, just to talk about him just for a hot second, he had a really good draw.
Yeah.
He had a really good draw, so definitely an opportunity. I would probably say his 2 losses. If he could go back and do those again, I don't think he loses. I don't
Who
think
did
he
he lose
loses
to?
those 2
Read them
games.
off. Tell us.
He lost to Craig Titlebaum.
Okay.
No disrespect to Craig, but I
Shocker.
do believe that
That's a
Al
shocker.
Manuel is, that's a shocker.
Yeah.
Because Craig is really just now getting started out in tournament play. He's mostly a league player, and he's even told, we talked about it all the time. The transition from league to tournaments is a completely different beast.
Absolutely.
Big time.
And then he lost to Saul LeBlanc.
Okay. Another shocker.
Yeah, I
feel like.
agree.
Yeah.
Agree on both of those, but
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, Saul's not a bad player, but I think Al gets the lead on that one a little
Yeah.
bit. Well, let's move to the part of our discussion, part of the TPS report show, where we talk about how the 3 of us did in the tournament, or 2 of us this time since Brandon wasn't there. Pat, do you want to start with me or you, my friend?
Let's start with me because it'll be just as quick as those matches went.
All right. So Pat Dixon finished 17th and 24th. Here's his 2 matches. A 3-1 loss to Randy Baker, who finished 6th in the tournament, and a 3-0 loss to Monik Suri, who finished 7th, 8th, 1 out of the money. Pat, kind of a tough draw, but how did you play, and did you feel like you had a chance to win either of those?
Yes, I always feel like I don't really care who is on the other side of the table.
Yeah.
I feel like I can beat anybody, right? At the same time, I came out and I got even Randy said it after the match. He's like, "Man, you couldn't make a ball." I was like, "I know." I was rattling everything. I was shooting hard, and you know what? My mental side of the game really suffered because after I missed a few balls here and there, he got up 2 racks on me. I think I ended up getting 1 rack against him, but I was out of it. Mentally, I was already out of it, trying to fight back and claw back, but I was not being my own best friend inside my own head. And then I carried that over into the Monik game. I'm still thinking about those frustrations that I just had and trying to prove that I'm, this type of player in this game. And it was just bad. So a great lesson learned. But objectively speaking,
Yeah.
with these 2 players, I think the better players won. Right? I think these 2 guys were supposed to win those matches, and they did. So
Yeah. And I agree with that. And also, I think the Randy Baker match is on your Facebook page, correct?
yeah,
Did
it's
you
on
not
there if you
live
want to go
stream?
see it. It's on there.
Just trying to, help you get some views and some notoriety there.
Appreciate you, baby.
Brandon, what do you think about Pat's tournament, man? Obviously, you
He
didn't get to
got
see either match.
No, I didn't. But I mean, I read the bracket, and like I said, Pat said objectively speaking, but he is definitely not supposed to win either of those matches. But on the same time, I also love your viewpoint. You never think you're actually going to lose either. You go in there with everything you got, and you play hard to the end.
Absolutely.
No quit attitude, that's for sure. And that's just how tournament pool, runs sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes you just get a bad draw like this, man. There's no shame.
Happens. No, not at all.
Bad draw plus playing some of your worst pool can happen at the same time, which I believe is what it was for me. So lesson
But
learned.
you would rather have your worst pool against those kind of guys instead of matches you can win or, supposed to win.
Some matches you can learn from and carry to the other tournaments and keep that in the back of your mind.
Absolutely.
Every match is a lesson.
Yeah,
no matter
absolutely.
what it is.
for sure. I guess let's move on to my.
Please.
Let's hear it.
All right, so this is going to take a second. Hold on, this is a long list. All All right, so Justin Clark's tournament resume for the 8-ball tournament, Blue Rocks. 3-1 loss to Clay Davis. 3-0 win versus Chris Miller. 3-1 win versus Jeff Pate. 3-1 win versus John Simpson. 3-1 win versus Youngin. 3-1 win versus Monic Surrey. 3-0 win versus Randy Baker. And a 3-2 loss to Clay Davis. Let's start with Brandon and what he thinks about that run. Obviously, one match was on the string table, so you got to see one.
Pat, or I can look it up myself on one. You might have had the hardest bracket out of everybody playing.
Every one of those guys is really good.
I don't know Chris Miller.
He's
I know John.
Chris is currently the cook at Spoken Q.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know John Simpson. I know Monic. I know Youngin. I know Jeff Pate, of course. That is quite a list you put together.
Yeah,
man.
Justin Fargo's going, hey, this way.
I went up 8 points after this turn.
You should have.
639?
You should have. And I know nobody ever likes losing to the same player twice, but it's a good one to lose to.
Yeah.
I mean, now you had a great tournament. Good for you.
Yeah,
that's a great resume.
It was a tough field when you actually look at it in order like that. Pat, what did you think, man? You were there all day. You probably saw me play a little bit. I know you kind of kept an eye on me because I played on table 2 twice. So not only did I get one on the stream table, I got 2 within eyesight of you. So what did you, any thoughts?
Yeah, sucks to suck, guy. Get good. All right. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, practice.
Yeah, come practice with me some more. You get better.
Yeah.
No, I think Brandon's nail on the head, man. You had probably the toughest draw. But you said something months ago at a tournament that I believe we might have had at Jukebox where the cream rose to the top. And I feel like that's what we can say about you and your string of matches here. There's no shame in anybody ever losing a Chacho. Ever.
Yeah.
But being able to kind of look over to the left a little bit on table 2, I think there might have been a couple of shots that you wish you could have had back in that 2-3 loss against him.
Oh, yeah.
When y'all went hill, because you were right there. And I remember kind of seeing a couple misses and you looking up like, okay, that Justin Clark look. And then walking off. But nah, man. Great run, great tournament. Good for you.
All right. Yeah. First of all, Clay must know what we're talking about because he just texted me. So there's that. No, yeah, it was a fun tournament. I had a lot of fun playing. And when I have fun, I feel like I play good. Yeah, and the cream rises to the top. I'll say that because I feel like in every match, my opponent just made one extra mistake than I did. It's not like I honestly feel like the only match I played perfect in was the one against Jeff Pate. That was a 3-1 win. Other than that, every match, I don't think I played perfect. I think the other opponent just made one mistake that I didn't.
Was there somebody that you thought was going to give you, outside of Jeff Pate, but was there somebody that you thought was going to give you more trouble than what they actually did?
Honestly, and no offense to Jeff Pate, but I think I played him at the perfect time, so I wasn't scared of him because he was coming off a loss he shouldn't have had, and I felt like maybe that was the perfect time to play him. He had just lost to Saul LeBlanc, which is another upset, which proves that our system, our short races, anybody can win. Honestly, the match that I was most scared of, and other than the very first match, I think I was scared to play Clay in the first round. The only other match that really probably bothered me was John Simpson, just because we played each other so much when we used to play League at Smoke and Q. And I know he wants to beat me so bad, and I know he's been playing so much that I felt like I was the match he wanted to play. Like I felt like I was the one he really wanted to play. So I kind of expected him to come out and just have a perfect match and make no mistakes. And luckily, he hooked himself on a ball when I was up 2-1, and that's how I got the 3-1 win. But yeah, that was probably the match that I was probably going into as thinking to myself, okay, this might be the end of the run right here. This might be the end of the tournament. But, I snuck out with the win. He made the one mistake I didn't. And that's what it comes down to, especially in the short races.
Nice, man.
Yeah, so overall, a fun tournament for both of us. Hopefully here at this next tournament, all 3 of us can play and all 3 of us can reach the money.
Let's go.
I have no doubt that we can all make it there for sure.
I'm going to get in the money.
That's what I like to hear.
It's time.
That's what I like to hear.
No more talking about it, but I'll be there.
That's right. Don't talk about it. Be about it.
Yes.
That's what the kids say.
No one cares how much you talk.
What's our
They only care
Masters?
what you do.
What's our Masters team name?
Get the smoke.
Give them the smoke, Brandon.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, y'all are on a team now. Yeah, Brandon asked you instead of me. That's awesome.
Well, I wasn't his first choice, but it doesn't matter. I'm appreciative nonetheless.
Next question.
All right, so no, really, I hope y'all's team does really well. I hope y'all
Thank
do it. Let's talk each match now. Let's kind of go in depth here on our stream matches as we always do. We had 12 total matches on the stream, which I'm very happy about. That's a good number to have for a 28 player field. And we're going to go round by round and kind of say what happened. So we'll start with the first round. We had one matchup in the first round on the stream table. Great way to start the day. Liz Taylor with a 3-2 win over Joey Fox. Pat, you were there in person. What's your thoughts on Liz beating Joey Hill?
Joey Fox, at least
This
as
is
far as
this is probably a 15 seed beating a 2 seed, probably maybe.
crazy. This is
I
like
mean,
when
not that
App
Liz
State
played
beat that one
bad,
team.
just she's like nobody knew her, so it's kind of just a big shocker.
We know now.
Oh yeah,
We know now. Ain't that right, Diamond? Huh?
Yeah.
I will say that historically, I feel like Joey Fox is always on the stream table pretty early, right? We usually see his worst game during his first game. I feel like also normally the opponents that he plays can't capitalize on an early Joey Fox. Somehow, some way, Liz was able to capitalize on an early Joey Fox, and I think that may have boosted her confidence to shoot her up into third place. And maybe at the same time, maybe it frustrated Joey as well, losing that match, early on, and then him kind of, winning a couple matches here and there, but not really playing his best game until he got over there to rack him. But what an exciting way to start off the day, the biggest upset. And I really feel like this kind of set the tone for the really a lot of great matches that happened on the stream table throughout the rest of the day.
oh yeah. We did have a lot of great matches for the day. Brandon, what did you think, man? Sitting at home watching this match.
I was at work.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Watching this match.
Apologize.
Trust me, if I would have been at home, I would have been there.
Yeah.
You want to know what I gathered? Joey couldn't recover from his mistakes.
Yeah. He made it.
He missed the same shot, and this is figuratively speaking, of course. He missed the same shot multiple times as he couldn't get over the miss he had beforehand. I mean, Liz handed him the first rack. Liz missed a duck, believe it or not. Joey gets the first game, but then, I mean, right after that, he made a mistake, and he just couldn't get himself out of it. And, I mean, he ended up getting it to Hill, but, made one extra mistake, and Liz was able to capitalize and take it down.
For sure. I mean,
what was that?
Yeah, this definitely set the day off for a lot of upsets. We had more upsets in this tournament than I feel like we have in any of our other tournaments. And yeah, I mean, I think this was a lot closer of a match than people think. I think at the end of the day, I probably still give the slight edge to Joey, but I think maybe Joey didn't give her the respect that she deserves. I think maybe he kind of underestimated her.
I agree.
Because he didn't know her. And, sometimes when you don't know somebody and you play them in the first round, you kind of think to yourself, okay, who is this person? But, yeah, great win for Liz. I was super excited. I wanted to see it. I wanted to see a Hill battle, which, always root for. And I definitely wanted to see a woman win, and I wanted to see an upset. And I got all three in that one match. So great job, Liz, starting us off hot.
How many thousands of $10s and $20 bills is she taking off of men who never have taken her seriously whatsoever? I just sit here and think, like, if you don't know her, you're walking into a buzzsaw.
Could you imagine being that guy? Yeah, I'm $100, sure.
Oh, no chance. Let's go.
Yeah, it's good for her, though, man.
Absolutely.
People will understand worldwide or countrywide how good she is. So, yeah, great first round. That was our only match from the first round. Second round, we had 3 matchups. I'm going to go ahead and read them off. We can kind of discuss them. You had Marcus Moore beating Craig Teetelbaum 3-0. You had Ryan Daughtry beating Christy Steele 3-0. And then you had Youngin beating Steve Kang 3-0. Brandon, what's your thoughts on those 3 matches, man? You got a favorite out of those 3? You got any surprises? Just what's your thoughts?
Surprises, no. Yeah. Marcus, I mean, I like Craig's game. He is a good game. And Marcus, when he gets going, he's a freight train. So to see him get a 3-0 victory, no shocker.
Yeah.
Ryan Daughtry, one of my absolute best friends in this world. Love him dearly. The longest 3-0 match in the history of the full series. And what I gathered from that is Both players missed a lot of shots, and they both got a lot of great rolls on each other. And Ryan got 3 extra rolls than Christie did.
Hmm.
That's what it really was. The score is 3-0, but it was a whole lot closer than the score says. And those are his words. He and I actually talked about the match. So he would 100% agree with me on that.
Nice.
In the third match, Youngin and Steve King.
Yep.
Let's see.
Youngin with the 3-0 win over Steve King.
Yes. He
That
has-
Ryan Daughtry Christie Steele
Here
match
it
was
is.
that Ryan and Christie match was only 55 minutes.
It was only 55 minutes and
Yeah.
3 racks. Not bad. They're playing good one boxing game
Yeah,
there.
20-minute racks.
I think Youngin played well overall. I think Steve had a really hard time trying to get the speed of the table. I saw him not hit the rail on a couple of shots on an 8-ball.
Yes.
He cut and did not hit the rail. And then he had one that railed about 4 rails and somehow found the pocket
Mm-hmm.
and then came up short. He was just having a fit trying to get table speed there. And if you don't play there often, that's hard to do. And I don't think Youngin played lights out, but he played well enough to win 3-0. I think Youngin would agree with that too.
Agreed. Pat, what did you think about those 3 matches, buddy?
Yeah, so starting off with Craig versus Marcus, I don't think it was a surprise at all that Marcus won for sure.
I honestly
And
think
then-
I think that was probably out of all the matches we had on the stream table, I think that was, no offense to Craig, I think that was the one where it was the most favored towards one player.
Right.
Does that make
Right.
sense? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I would agree with that. And it got chippy at one point as well. Marcus was at the bottom. Marcus was at the bottom of the table. Craig was on the side, and I guess Craig was just kind of just hanging out, standing kind of further back from the table. Marcus saw a little bit of movement out of the corner of his eye, didn't like it, said something. Craig, which I loved, stood his ground, said something back like, blase blah. I'm not going to say what they said, but blase blah. But I feel like up until that point, Marcus wasn't really on his game as much as he wanted to be, quite honestly, watching that match. And then after they had a little bit of a chat, then he kind of took off and really just kind of closed things out for him. But I don't think there's any surprise there. Love you, Craig. The Christie Steele and Ryan Daughtry match, I was just going to say, Brandon, that match is a lot closer than people think. So don't look at that as 3-0 and think like, oh, Ryan just came out and whooped Christie. No, that was a drawn out, really laborious match where I think the speed of the table affected just about everybody that came out there, right? The more seasoned veteran players really started to get the speed down later on in the evening once maybe some conditions changed also in the pool hall a little bit. But the speed of the table was always a problem. And then that table specifically is super, super tight on those pockets. They are extremely unforgiving. They will spit balls out. They'll rattle them back out as well. We saw a whole lot of that with Christie and Ryan. But I've never actually had a chance to see Christy play, but I always see her posting on Facebook. So it was nice to actually kind of be able to see her game. I've never seen Ryan play before as well. So it's, I always enjoy seeing new folks come in and kind of, seeing where their game is, comparing a little bit as well. Right. But no, definitely a lot closer. And then the Youngin versus Steve King, Youngin is supposed to win that match 10 times out of 10.
He is.
10 times out of 10, he's supposed to win that. No disrespect to Steve at all. Very nice guy. But Youngin is definitely more of a shot maker than anything. And I think in this match, he also was struggling to find the speed of the table as well. But thankfully, he was up against a lesser opponent, to be quite honest. And his shot making plus a lesser opponent was allowing him to close it out pretty quickly. I think they were done in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think, my thoughts on those 3 matches. I think the favorite won all 3 matches. I was happy to see Ryan win a match, just, being a friend. And, I know he was eager to play, and I like him playing, and I hope he plays in more of our events. So I was happy to see him win, although I was kind of rooting for Christy as well, because I know she's been really supporting us lately also. So, I was kind of hoping that she would pull off kind of an upset there. But either way, to me, as long as it took, that was actually probably my favorite match to watch out of those 3. The Youngin and Steve match was decent. I think both players kind of struggled a little bit. I don't think that was either one of the best games. And then, so I actually think Ryan and Christy was the best match, even though it just took a while and a lot of defense and a lot of missed balls, which was weird because both players can play way better than they should.
Sure.
But it also could have been just unfamiliarity with those tables, although Ryan plays league out of there. So I don't know what his excuse was for not knowing the table.
Get it
But
together, Ryan.
yeah,
He doesn't have one.
yeah. All right, so the third round, we had two matchups from the third round. This is where things get pretty good, I feel like. This is kind of where we turn the notch up to another level here. We had Eddie Little with a 3-1 win versus Youngin, and then Clay Davis with a 3-1 win versus Ryan Daughtry. Pat, what's your thoughts on those two matches, man? Were they fun to watch?
The Youngin versus Eddie Little match was a fun one to watch because it was
Yes.
like a tale of two different styles, right? You have a shot maker versus an experienced veteran, in my opinion. And 9 times out of 10, experience is going to beat shot making, and I think that was the case here against the legend and Youngin. In that first rack, they Eddie Little put that 8 ball right up against the side pocket and kind of
Yeah,
married the
well,
6
well,
to
right.
it. Yeah, man, that was crazy, and it was really nice to kind of see that that psychological, the mental battle, right, the decision making in that part. But I think once he took that rack, it was pretty much a wrap, right?
Yeah.
And then with the Clay Davis and Ryan Daughtry match, honestly, I don't have too much to say other than congrats to Ryan for getting a rack out of Clay. Quite honestly, man, congrats to you for doing that. But again, this is one of those moments where the cream rises to the top. Clay Davis right now is in my hot seat to be the next one to be most favorite to host that trophy, hoist that trophy up. So yeah, he ran into a juggernaut. But hey, congrats on getting a rack out of him, man.
Yeah. So Brandon, man, what did you think about the Eddie and Youngin match or the Clay and Ryan match?
First off, love both of them.
Oh yeah,
They're both great matches.
agreed.
My viewpoint of the Eddie Little and Youngin match might be a little bit different. I don't necessarily know if it was a shot making thing, even though I will say, Eddie, that's one of the best safeties I've ever seen somebody playing an 8-ball game. That is what won you the rack. And on the return side of that, Youngin almost hit the best counter safety I had seen in a while. It leaked out just enough for Eddie to be able to pocket it, but Eddie Youngin had to go 3 rails, and he almost landed that thing. If he had landed that in a whole different ball game, I don't know. When players miss badly, it's not because they're struggling physically. A lot of them aren't focused properly. When you're not focused properly, you'll usually get English on balls that don't belong there. And I noticed that with a lot of Youngin shots. Eddie gave him, Pat, you and I were talking about in the beginning, Eddie really didn't pick up his best pull until the match with Clay.
Right.
That's really, I mean, his pull before that match was it's average for Eddie, which is better than most people's game. However, it was still it was not good enough to beat Youngin when he's on.
Right.
That I will say. And I think there was some nervousness to the moment there, but at the end of the day, when it was time for Eddie to pocket balls, he was able to pocket balls. And, there's just missed opportunities. And I was with Youngin last night. We talked about it a little bit. And he said it was just, missed opportunities at the wrong time. Every player does it. But if anybody ever wonders why they do it, it's because they're not focused all the way.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what happened there. Let's see, Clay and Ryan. Like Marcus Moore, I probably have at least 1,000 to 2,000 hours locked with Ryan once a week for the last 7 years at his house. And it's probably the most no-quit attitude guy I've ever met in my whole life, just in general, not just on the pool table. That's Ryan Daughtry for you. If he's down 10 racks or he's down 2 racks, he's going to play you the same, and he wants to win, and he doesn't care about your feelings whatsoever.
It's true.
It's what makes me love him so much. So with all that being said, I knew he was going to fight Chachi to the end. There's a talent discrepancy there. And the better player won.
Yeah.
And the better player pocketed the balls when it was time.
Yeah.
But like I said, Ryan, you did get a game out of him, and you played him as hard as you could.
So I have an interesting question for you because I've never seen Ryan play, but you guys have, right?
Yeah.
From what you know about Ryan and where his game is right now, what would you say is like the one thing he could do right now to take his game to the next level?
Wow,
Why did both of you smirk at the same time?
I think he just misses too much. I don't really know why. I don't really know why.
The work.
Yeah.
The work. That's the difference. There's players that just want to play racks all the time, and then there's the players that will do the work. I watched Clay Davis do the work for years and years. It's not a mystery why he is where he is. When I met the guy, I could give him 2 games on the wire. Now I wouldn't play him with 2 games on the wire. I mean, it's the work. It's the doing the drills. It's also getting in the right kind of games. Playing the tournaments. Like for a while there wasn't a tournament or an action match, or play wasn't in. Plus the table time and really focused on practice. And I can say that for any player, really.
Yeah.
Alex Pagulayan, a guy wanted Alex Pagulayan to coach him one time, and Alex said, "What do you want out of this?" He said, "I want to be like you." He said, "Are you willing to quit your job?" Guy said, "No." "Are you willing to practice pool 8 hours a day?" The guy said, "No." "Well, then you can never be like me." Alex Pagulayan's exact words. And I mean, I'm going to say that for Ryan. Yeah, it's the work. It's the extra work. Play more pool and drills than hours slept.
Yeah, I think. I mean that makes perfect sense because, I think for some reason he just misses balls at random times, and it's like, dude, you just made 7 shots in a row that you should never make, and then you'd miss. It's like it's weird. But my thoughts. Well, actually, hold on. First of all, a story that you just reminded me of that's kind of maybe based off of the story you just told about Alex Pagulayan.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I first started my job in radio, they said, "What do you want to do here?" And I said, "I want to take y'all's job." That's what I said in my interview. So there you go. They did hire me, so I don't know what's wrong with them. But yeah, I mean, sometimes that's the attitude you got to have, really. And it's good to show that attitude, I feel like. But my thoughts on Eddie Little and Youngin, I think Youngin had chances. He just kind of blew it. And sadly, I think we're starting to see that from Youngin a couple of times here in these tournaments where he kind of has a chance to win the match that he needs to win to get there, and he just can't quite figure it out. And then Clay against Ryan. Yeah, Clay's the favorite player. I think both matches being 3-1 is probably exactly where they should have been. If I was a betting man, I would put each match at 3-1. So I think they both ended exactly like they should have. So no big surprises there. So let's go ahead and move on to the final 4, the winner side. So 2 matches. We had Liz Taylor with a Hill victory over Randy Baker. And we had Eddie Little with a 3-1 win versus Clay Davis. I'm just going to go ahead and say right now, Clay and Eddie, 2 big dogs playing each other. Randy and Liz would definitely be the, I guess, the afterthought of the match, even though it was actually a better match. I think it was a better match to watch, but one's the marquee matchup and one's the, oh, yeah, I guess we'll stick around and watch this.
The 8 versus the 9 seed in the final 4 when you have 2 1s on the other side.
This was the Florida Atlantic and Miami. Yeah, and then the other one was Duke and North Carolina. So there you go. I guess we'll start with Brandon. Brandon, what's your thoughts on those final 4 winner side matchups?
Liz, did you send Randy a Christmas gift, a gift card, a stocking, a present? Did you send him anything after he safetied himself on what was surely the nuts? I was so sick when I saw that. I was like, no, this guy's played such a good match. And believe it or not, a lot of people would have probably favored Liz to win anyway.
Yeah.
But he had a chance, and then he just made that one play where it just hooked right behind. He actually made a great kick to hit the ball, so he didn't give her ball in hand. So she did have to work a little harder. But I thought that was a great match. Absolutely. I thought it was a great, let me see if I got this right, great comeback.
Yeah.
Wasn't she down 2-0?
I think so.
Down 2-0 and found a way to win.
No, she wasn't down 2-0?
Against Randy Baker?
I'm thinking of a different match.
She was down
Might be thinking of a different match. So she
he got to the hill.
Randy was up 1-0. She tied it. And then she went up 2-1. He tied it.
I just saw the match. I made the mistake on. Either way, she was down, and she definitely had her back against the wall. But at the same time, Pat, you remember when I talked about in the first couple of episodes tournament toughness?
Yes.
That's what certain players have in these tourneys, and certain players don't. She does.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell this woman plays a lot of tournament pool.
I'll add to that by saying it looked like at that point Randy was just happy to be there. And
think
Liz,
so.
Liz was focused on winning. So continue on, Brandon, with your thoughts, or if you're done, we'll go to Pat.
That guy.
Yeah, we'll go to Pat. Pat, what's your thoughts on the two Final Four winner side matchups, buddy?
I love the analogy that you put out there. My analogy for Clay and Eddie versus Liz and Randy. Clay and Eddie is the main card of UFC, like
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar and Frank Mir. And then Liz
Yes.
and Randy, they're that match just before, right? You don't think it's going to be as good as it is, but it ends up being fight of the night, knockout
Yeah.
of the night, submission of the night, whatever it is, right? I enjoyed watching, excuse me, that match. Honestly, for me, more than the Eddie Little and Chacho match.
Yeah.
Just because I was so excited to see just how far Liz was going to be able to take it. Pressure makes diamonds. Okay,
That's right.
pressure makes diamonds. To your point as well, Brandon, her showing that tournament toughness. I remember watching her early on in the Joey Fox match, and her arm and stroke was honestly like physically a little bit shaky. Maybe the nerves early on, new tournament coming down to Charlotte, playing in these, in the matches and everything like this. When she was playing here against Randy and further on, she was as still as a placid lake,
Oh, yeah.
right? Super, super solid. So shouts out to her for taking a hill match. And then Eddie Little and Clay Davis. This was just kind of a little taste of what we were going to see for the rest of the night. This is where Eddie Little, like we talked about, Brandon, he had that look. He had that look. This was his time, and he wasn't going to let anybody get in his way.
He's not
But
losing this tournament.
he's not losing this tournament exactly. And even though it was 3-1, I really wouldn't say that it was like a super one-sided match. It's just Eddie did everything right. It didn't get too many bad rolls. Great cue ball control. Wasn't letting anybody get in his way.
For sure. I think Eddie played very great in that match with Clay.
That was the match where he missed the 6 ball, like I talked about in the beginning. And then after that, winner chicken dinner.
Yeah.
It was pretty.
I'm just going to say, when Liz got on the hill against Randy, I think that was when I fully bought into the Liz train. And I was like, you know what? This is who I'm rooting for to win. I'm still in it at this point, and I'm like, I want this lady to win. I don't even care anymore. Like, I'm just sitting back here hoping I get to see her win. And yeah, so that was kind of where I was at on that match. But both fantastic matches. All four players are really good. Great Final Four winner side. Next, we go to the loser side. This is where you finally get to see me play. Justin Clark with a 3-0 win over Randy Baker. I guess I'll just go ahead and throw out my thoughts on my match first.
Please do.
Please, yeah.
I honestly, before I rewatched this match, I honestly thought Randy had won the game. Because in my mind, I made one mistake, and for some reason, I thought he got out, but apparently he didn't. But I felt like I played great the first 2 racks, and I think the third rack, I don't know what happened there. I think I got kind of lucky to win. But Randy was super nice. It was a super fun match to play. I liked playing on that table, and obviously I liked people watching me, so that kind of made me focus a little bit more too. Pat, you were there, front row. Thoughts on Justin's 3-0 win over Randy?
Call him a glad bag because no, I'm just kidding, bro. You're great. No, I think I don't have enough history on Randy to know any tournaments that he may have played in the past, what kind of league he's playing right now, where his game is. But I just know about a little bit more about your history. And it goes back to the saying, like the theme of this podcast, the cream rose to the top. You did just enough in that final rack to do what you need to do to go ahead and take that. Granted, maybe you got a couple rolls here and there.
Yeah.
But again, this isn't your first rodeo. Definitely won't be your last. I think you did exactly what you were supposed to do. You told me one time, the last tournament that we had at Rackham, that was an opponent that I should have won, I could have won, and I actually did win against Braden. I feel like this is the same for you.
Yeah.
You're supposed to win this match every time. So good
Agreed.
job,
I feel that way as well. Brandon, you watched the match.
I did.
So what did you notice or think, or just thoughts from behind the computer screen or behind the phone screen or wherever you watched it?
The 3 seed beating the 14 seed by 15. It's supposed to happen.
I like that I'm a 3 seed.
You are a 3 seed. No disrespect to Randy. I love your game. You definitely play well. But like I said, just knowing him for all the years and all the hours I have logged in with him, I know what this guy can do. And when I saw the styles collide, I favored you instantly, and you did exactly what 98% of the people would have thought you'd have done.
Well, thank you. It was definitely,
You had a great tourney, Justin, no doubt about it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. That's what I mostly view my tournaments as, is having fun. Winning kind of comes secondary. It's an added plus. It's like I'm not gonna say it's a cherry on top because I hate cherries. So well, it's kind of like the cupcake, or the ice cream on the side of the cake, maybe, or something. I don't know, but let's move on to our hot seat. How about that? Hot seat match time. Eddie the Legend Little with a 3-1 win versus Liz Taylor. I'm gonna be honest with you. I want Eddie to win the trophy, but man, like I said, I was on the Liz train at this point. I was rooting hard. I was really wanting her to pull this off some way, somehow. But Eddie was just a little bit too much, man. Eddie was on a mission at this point, and he figured it out. So let's go with Brandon first
Go
and
with me
foremost.
first.
I see your notes over
Oh,
there.
absolutely.
See
Go
him
ahead
scroll
and
up to
tell
him.
us what you got here.
Dry break was her enemy.
Yeah.
After that 6-ball in the prior match with Clay, Eddie was on fire. This match didn't take long. Eddie was on a mission. I didn't have. I mean, you don't ever have doubts till you don't. You never know till it's over. But I felt good about it when I saw her break dry and break open. I knew she was in trouble. And Eddie was just being Eddie that day, and he was gonna get that cup. He was gonna get that trophy.
Absolutely.
I don't think it really would have mattered a whole lot who was on the other side of it.
Yeah.
Not that day.
Yeah, I agree, and that's actually a good perspective that I never thought about going back and watching that match today. Those draw breaks were really the death of her. One, but two, if she would have played probably anybody else outside of Eddie Little, she probably wins that match with how her tournament was building up throughout the day as well. I'm with you, Justin. I was on the Liz train all the way. I wasn't rooting against Eddie, but I was rooting for Liz so hard, dog. It was crazy. But it just, I can't say it enough. Liz the Diamond Taylor, shouts out to you for a great tournament. Nothing to be, to hang your head on. Finishing in third place in your first pool series tournament against this kind of field says a lot about who you are as a pool player. So please come back. Please come back.
Absolutely. Brandon, did you have something else to add about that match, man? I thought I saw maybe
I was kind of looking at the notes on here. No, I really don't have anything to add. I love the match. It was awesome.
I think all three of these that match and then these next two matches, I think, are just fantastic. So that leads us to our semifinal match where Clay Davis with a Hill win over Liz Taylor. And again, I'm on the Liz train, even though Clay might be my best friend. I wouldn't be too upset if Liz beat him, but I think at the end of the day, Liz might have been the third best player in this tournament, and that's where she finished, was third place. And Clay just found a way to win, Hill. And what I think was actually a fantastic match. I think it was one of my favorite matches to watch throughout the whole day. So, Pat, what are you thinking about Liz versus Clay?
Match of the tournament.
Yeah.
For me, match of the entire tournament because Liz had a chance to win.
Oh, yeah.
She had a chance to take this and be fighting in the championship up against Eddie Little, who would have killed anybody. Anyway. But no, I don't have too much more to say. Clay was on a mission just as much as Eddie Little was. It's just it was Eddie Little's time. It's Eddie Little's time right now. I know we're going to get into that, but a really great match. She gave up the 8-ball in the end because Clay got perfect position out of going around the table, sinking the 1 ball into the bottom left-hand corner pocket. He was playing amazing. I think honestly too, Justin, him beating you twice probably boosted him up a little bit as well, and his confidence in his stroke. Him having to get to that next gear in order to take you out, number one, and then coming in and not making the same mistake that maybe Joey Fox made, which was taking Liz lightly. Perhaps, right? Treating her just like anybody else and coming out playing some of his best pool so far. So love that match.
Yeah.
Match of the night.
Yeah, I think by that point you had to show Liz respect. And yes, it's not very often that somebody beats me twice in one day. He should consider himself very lucky. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I'm just kidding. He's supposed to win, probably. He's supposed to win. So Brandon, what's your thoughts on Liz versus Clay?
Like y'all, favorite match of the whole day.
Yeah.
And this comes right back. And earlier I said comeback match. This was the comeback match I was thinking of because this is where Liz had Clay 2-0.
Yeah, man.
And grinded his way out. I mean, playing smart, playing patient. I wonder if Liz is going to take every 11 ball off the table and throw it against the wall after she sees him for a while, because that was the detriment to the end of the match there. She missed an easy 11 that let Clay take it down. But in the process of getting there, watching somebody tournament tough and tournament smart is what got Clay the win. It wasn't his great shooting, because he didn't shoot that well in this match at all. It was the smart thinking, smart playing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And watching the grinding was great.
Mm-hmm.
So, like everybody said, Liz, hopefully I get to meet you one day, see some of the events. But that was great shooting, great, well played everything, and somebody had to win and somebody had to lose, and we saw how it happened. So
Yeah, I mean, these final three players were very fun to watch, and these were all, like I said, all three of these final three matches were powerhouse matches, blow by blow, super fun to watch, and that leads us to the final matchup. Eddie Little, who had won the hot seat, playing Clay Davis. As we do in our tournaments, he doesn't have to double dip them. Just one longer race to 5.
love that.
And yes, I love it too. I think it's the way every tournament should be.
Yeah.
Eddie Little pulls out the 5-2 win. Clay might have made one or two mistakes, but I feel like it was Eddie's day. I feel like things were just meant to be. I think whatever you believe in, God, the universe, Allah, whatever it is that you pray to, was on Eddie's side. And I think it was just meant to be for him to win this event. I think it was meant for him to win this match. And I think we were all super happy for him. He even looked excited to hold the trophy at the end. So, Brandon, what's your thoughts on the final matchup? Eddie Little beating Clay Davis 5-2 for the trophy. Give us your thoughts.
Let's read how articulate I was on this.
All right.
Eddie wasn't losing. He flipped a switch earlier and maintained it. He was due. Great win. I just summed it all up right there in a few very basic third grade phrases. No, it was great to watch. Like, as pool players, as people who've won tournaments, years and years between us and many other people we know, you just know when it's your night.
Yeah.
It's your day.
Yeah.
You're not losing. You don't care who's in front of you, because of how you're playing, you're going to win. That was Eddie Little. And it was his time. This man this year has had some heartbreaking losses in this
Oh my
tournament.
gosh.
But I think he will even tell you this is his best pool year in probably a decade.
Absolutely was. I'm just glad
It's also
playing.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the most he's played probably.
Yes, and I'm sure he's going to keep playing, because y'all run great tournaments. That has a lot to do with it too.
He even told me when I talked to him today. He said, "quote My next event will be the pool series because y'all are the best." Now, of course, that's just probably him being nice and maybe sarcastic, but yeah, he said he's going to take a break until December 30th and he comes back to play in our event, which we'll talk about here in a second. But Pat, what's your thoughts, man, on the final match? You were front and center. You did an interview with Eddie Little, which hopefully will be up on our YouTube page soon. So
Yes.
tell us your thoughts, man.
No, I mean, you really couldn't ask for a better finals match between these two guys.
Two best players in the field.
For sure.
For sure, the top 2 best players in the field, getting as far as everyone expected them to get. But yeah, it's just what we've been saying this entire show. It was Eddie Little's night, and I believe since the first ball was struck in this match, he had that look.
Yeah.
He had that look, and as much as I wanted to see more, like Justin always says, you want to see a hill, and whoever breaks first, he gets that breaker run, and that's who takes it. As much as you wanted to see that, in your heart, you kind of knew not so much that Chacho didn't have a chance, but Eddie Little wasn't going to allow him too many chances to stay in this match. He was going to do what he needed to do to take these racks, not stretch this match out any more than it needed to be, and take home that trophy. And he did it. It was a phenomenal performance. Really great match to watch.
It was definitely fun to watch, and it's not often that I think the 2 best players make it to the end, but that's exactly what happened today. Is there anything else that we haven't mentioned here about this tournament? Do you have any other thoughts, Pat, about the tournament? Is there something we should have talked about that we didn't?
About the tournament? No, not really. The only thing I would say, just kind of thinking back to a month ago, is shout out to Blue Rocks, man.
Yes.
Oh,
Shout out to Blue Rocks. I'm telling you, this,
Great place.
it's probably one of the, if not the best place in Charlotte to come and play some great competitive pool.
Absolutely.
Great environment.
Yeah, it's I love the place right now. Actually, I love what they've done. It's a lot different than it was 7 or 8 years ago. Brandon, anything else that you want to add about this tournament, man?
I mean, kind of just to piggyback off exactly what y'all said, it's also the best to commentate. It's also the best to, the quality of the picture on the table, because the table is beautiful and the lighting is great. It is my favorite place that the pool series has tournaments.
Nice.
It really is. I hope that a number of them are going to be there next year. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Racking for the space, but Blue Rocks for the quality, not just
Absolutely.
of the tables, but also for the commentary and everything else.
I will say there's stuff I like about all three of them. I think they're all three equal between Smoking Q, Blue Rocks, and Rackham. They all three live in my heart, and I love to play at all three of them. So there is that.
Yes.
I want to, if I could piggyback real quick. We said that Blue Rocks is my home place. We'll call it that. Rackham. You'll always be my baby boo. You'll always be my baby boo.
Yes.
90% of the money I've won on the pool table has been at Rackham, so I'll always have some love there too.
Love Rackham, man.
No, yeah, I got love for all three of the places. So let's move our attention to the future here. In a couple of weeks, we have another tournament, December 30th, which will be at Rackham. It's going to be a 9-ball event. Only taking 32 players. As of right now, as of this day, as of this moment, we have 22 signed up.
Let's go, baby.
10 spots left. All three of us are on that list as of right now. As for me, if it gets filled up, I might drop out.
Shoot yourself off.
Yes. Hopefully you two play. We got a few. Actually, I feel like almost that whole list played in this Blue Rocks tournament. So we got pretty much everybody coming back.
Good.
Yes.
Love the field.
So any thoughts about that tournament coming up, Brandon? Any what's a wild prediction? Yeah.
Brandon's been in the lab.
No, there we go.
He's coming. And I'm going to stay in the lab, and the money prediction is going to come true. It's happening.
I like it. Pat, any wild prediction for the Rackham tournament, man?
First of all, I believe in you, Brandon. All right? I believe in you. Call me a doobie because we're going to give him the smoke. No.
That's it, baby.
It's speaking of which, no, Justin is what's the name signed up? Is she confirmed? Is Liz confirmed?
She is not confirmed yet. No, I will send it to her. If you're friends with her on Facebook, Pat, you send it to her as well.
I will do that.
Yes.
Bold prediction. My bold prediction is one of us dethrones the king and we take home the trophy. One of us three dethrones the king and we take home the trophy.
I definitely like that, because then if we do, it will be sitting right here in the middle of Brandon. I know at least if I win, it'll be sitting right here. I don't know what Brandon will do if he wins, but if I win, it'll be sitting here.
Right here,
Yeah.
along with my new cover photo in my front yard. I might put it on my dog's head. I mean, there's a number of things that's happening.
Yeah, I think it kind of bounces off of my wild prediction too, which is we'll have a new winner. We'll have a newbie, a new person that hasn't won yet will win. I think that's my prediction. I don't know who it'll be. It could be Clay. It could be Ronald. It could be somebody crazy like one of us three. It could be like Youngin. If Liz decides to come and play, it could be her. Could be somebody that hasn't even cashed yet. I mean, you never know. I just think it'll be somebody new. We'll be holding that trophy. So yeah, December 30th, mark your calendars, get signed up, make sure you contact me. You got multiple ways to pay. I take all forms of payment. So just contact me, whether text message or Facebook or whatever, or contact the pool series. We'll make sure they answer you as well. I got one other question here before we sign off, and it is Christmas is coming up. Pat, are you going to get anything pool related for Christmas?
No,
Your family don't like you?
no, not at all. What? Are you serious? There's an Amazon box showing up in my house every 45 seconds. Ain't nothing in there for me.
That's awful. That's awful.
Okay. Speaking of pool stuff, Brandon, you still got my blue claw?
Well, it's funny you should mention that, because Justin asked if you were getting anything for Christmas. You are getting a blue pool claw for Christmas,
The love.
Perfect.
along with a piece of chalk for the mistake that my pit bull made to your thing. Yeah, I was not happy. So
It's all good.
that will be
It's all
with
good.
me when I come see you when we see each other on Saturday for Masters.
Can't wait, buddy. Can't wait.
Brandon,
That's
you
fun.
getting any pool gifts for Christmas, buddy?
No, I'm tapped.
All right. Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Same. I bought myself that Predator case.
Okay.
So yeah, I won't be getting anything from anybody else. I also bought a new shaft from Paul Harrison. So there you go. I got Paul Harrison carbon fiber shaft. So
Oh, is it a Paul Hair a PH shaft?
yeah.
Nice. Have you shot with it yet?
No, it's a plane.
Oh yeah, playing shaft.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think that kind of sums up, man. Let me go ahead and go through our sponsor once more and thank them again. John Patera at Remax Metro Realty, Bowie's Plumbing, Smitty's Garage Services, Tim's Q's, The Pool Doctors, Portico Licensed General Contractors, Red's Debris Removal and Hauling, and Inkwell Design. We thank you all for sponsoring this 8-ball tournament that we had at Blue Rocks. Y'all make sure you check out the Pool Series Facebook page. Make sure you check out the Pool Series YouTube page. Make sure you check out the TPS reports, which is on the Pool Series YouTube page. And of course, check out the TPS reports on Spotify. Brandon Wallace, thank you so much, sir, for another fun night.
Always a pleasure.
Pat Dixon, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
You're the man, pots and pants.
And as for Justin Clark, all I got to say is we will check y'all later.
December 30th.